All right, guys, God bless you, and welcome to This Is It, 4, 3, 2, 1, Before the Fire, guys. Here we go. We got to keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. The end is in sight. Okay, listen, I'm doing this video kind of as a break-in in between the disclosure of all this super wild biblical world-worshiping mother goddess come out of her my people stuff I'm doing right now. Guys, I think we may have a perfect storm right now for the prophetic information that the Lord gave me in 2007. Right now, it looks like the perfect storm. Let me briefly explain. I'm going to show you all these video clips of different things. It's going to be like a deck of cards. I'm just going to go, if you'll just permit me. But what I'm going to tell you first is this. We know that Barack Obama was sent as an asset to take the U.S. down from the inside, from the global elites, from the serpent race. I'm just going to call them what they are now. Obama is a serpent in his presidential portrait. The fang on his head, that's the serpent. The serpent's bite is a sperm. It's another race of beings. Okay, now, look at the perfect storm. Obama comes in. The intelligence agencies knew it. He's bringing in world Islam. Don't forget that. So the culmination of all these plans for all these years is to bring in world Islam. And he also has a CIA director, John Brennan, that is in cahoots, who is also Islam, leading the CIA. And those guys are going to usher in world Islam and take the West down from the inside. Okay, then they're working out their plan. Obama's the president. He has his 8 years. He's so arrogant. He's saying, oh, for those that think I have some conspiracy-oriented friends on the right that think I have some secret agenda, you're absolutely right. And what was that secret agenda? It was identity, gender, politics, government. Governing of the people by a gender identity, serpent race, female energy. I saw these guys ask on a panel on, just as a side note, I saw this Democratic panel that were talking to this Republican guy, and they were just knocking Trump, and he said, well, let me ask you an honest question. What face in the Democratic Party can you tell me represents like a manly man, manhood? None of them could say a word. They just didn't, none of them had an answer. And he said, let's just be honest. Being a man means like you want to do better than what you are. You want to be stronger than what you are. You want to achieve more than what you think you are. That's what superheroes are about. That's what all sporting events are about. Trying to attain more and be better than you are. And he said, you know, when Trump got shot in the air, he stood up and pumped his fist. Now, I'm not a Trump fan, guys, just for the record. I think he's funny. I think he's smart. But I'm not like, oh, Donald Trump's going to be the savior. Not at all. Not even a little bit. But the point is, he brought up a very good point. He said the Democratic Party is about emasculating men. It's making a man something else than other than what he is. Well, I've been telling you that's what the whole world's about. It's about female energy destroying male energy within the system. So here comes the plan to take the U.S. down from the inside. They have Barack Obama, and he's got a fake wife that's a man. He's got 2 children that aren't his. He's got a fake birth certificate, fake social security number. I'm sorry, fake social security number. That's kind of a mouthful. He's got this just total fake facade. He's from Kenya. He's not even allowed to be a president. Now think about this. So they get him in. He's doing his thing. They're bringing the U.S. down. Y'all watched it happen systematically, tearing down the institutions, systematically demoralizing the whole country, systematically reeling in lawlessness into the land. Cops are bad. Criminals are good. Systematically taking the people of the United States and degrading them while he brings other people in to replace them. Those are just facts. But then all of a sudden, this guy, Donald Trump, wins. And they're like, oh, man, well, now think about this. If they already had this long-term plan, and Obama was the guy to come in and take it down from the inside, they don't have any choice but to come up with a plan to deal with Trump. So the plan that they came up with was, oh, we've got to discredit Trump. You know, we've got to make everyone believe he's a Russian asset. Now we know every bit of it was lies and that Hillary was the Russian asset. And Hillary and all of them were in it together. And even the intercept of Russian intelligence from Norway and other countries showed that Russia wanted Hillary. And don't forget, Hillary did the uranium one, where she gave Russia all that access to all the uranium. Remember the email servers. So then you have all these corrupt intel agencies that are helping build this narrative that Trump's a Russian asset, when it's Hillary that's the Russian asset, while they're trying to bring the U.S. down from the inside, while they have all this proof now that they've already given to the public, and they've shown you the letters and the people that were involved in concocting the scheme. And it's not a scheme. What it is it's treason at its highest level. It is absolute rot from the inside. Intelligence agencies, judges, they are putting their people everywhere, just like we're talking in a biblical sense, the treasonous thing from heaven, where everybody that's involved gets to live it out in this system. Okay, now, before you do any channel changing, watch this, okay? I told you in 2007, when I prophesied, when the Lord allowed me to prophesy, I showed you the bombings of the buildings in the United States are printed on U.S. currency notes. You guys, the $20 bill from 96 shows the Twin Towers and the Pentagon both getting destroyed. The older 20 shows a federal building bombing on both sides of the bill being destroyed. That's already impossible. There's no odds that can cover that. So those bombings happened, and they were printed on the money. And then the Lord let me prophesy, and the words that came out of my mouth, out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and a devouring wind. That's a nuke. Out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and a devouring wind. Water as high as the walls of Jerusalem will cover the city by the sea. That's a nuke and a tsunami. Isn't it weird that a nuke and a tsunami are printed on a $100 bill and a $10 bill? I wonder what the odds are. Now, look at the situation now. Just stand back and look at it. We're finding out that the whole thing about Christianity through this organization and most every other one in the world is fraudulent. It's all a big facade. Christianity is the absolute truth. Bible, Jesus is the absolute Son of God. He's the only way to get out of the trap, and they've watered it down to something else. And in this case, they actually have you walking in a building that's in the shape of Satan. The serpent personified is Satan. So you walk into Satan's building and you sing to Lucifer donning his own creation, which I've shown you over and over again, in front of a big dead sheep that's being eaten by a snake. End of story. Okay, but how's that fit into everything that's going on right now? It fits into the whole narrative now, because now the traitors, in a spiritual sense, all the ones doing the traitor stuff from the inside, they're exposed. They're totally freaking exposed now. There's no going back. Hillary is busted. Obama, Clapper, Brennan, all of them are busted. What do you think is going to happen now? Isn't it odd? Because Russia was with Hillary. They were for Hillary. What about the Russian collusion narrative, a fake dossier by a Russian agent? They're the ones that are in cahoots with Russia. And now all of a sudden, Russia hasn't been doing well at all in the Ukraine. So the Ukraine's been putting a whoop on Russia, and now Russia is caught as well as Hillary and the rest of the gang. Russia was part of the deal too, because Hillary and all of them that were beholding to Russia and could be manipulated by Russia got replaced by Donald Trump. Oh no. Okay, guess what? Now that all that's cracked open, what do you think is going to happen? I remember the last time something super crazy popped off, like when Rumsfeld started talking about, oh my God, we have all this money missing and we have these terror cells. And then the next day, you have 9/11 hit, you have an alleged plane hit the office where the $3 trillion missing accounting was. Like, oh wow, isn't that crazy? Today of all days, the next day after Rumsfeld talks about, boom, a missile hits or a plane hit the Pentagon. But it was printed on the money already. Stop and think about that. It was already printed on the U.S. currency notes. So now, we have the same thing going on right now. And we have a $10 bill that's got a nuclear event on it and a $100 bill that's got a nuclear event on it. You have a tidal wave on the $10 bill, and it hasn't happened yet. And you have a nuclear event, fire and smoke, and a devouring wind on the $100 bill. Okay, thanks for letting me just try and blah that out. It's a lot. Now I'm just going to show you all the clips. You ready? Just bear with me. Okay, this happened a little over a month ago, I think. Right here. July 11th, 2025. This is Putin's #1 propaganda guy, I think, talking smack, Putin's biggest mouthpiece, talking smack about a radioactive tsunami using nuclear torpedoes as Trump sends arms to Ukraine. Now, here we go. Ready? Okay, let me see where the translation is. Okay, hang on one sec. Okay, guys, real quick, just, apologies for being so amped up. I got so much on my mind right now. Okay, so I lowered the size of the screen a little bit. So here we go. Nothing will save them. Putin's biggest mouthpiece threatens the United States with radioactive tsunami using nuke torpedoes as Trump sends arms to Ukraine. Okay, now, this was July 11th, so they've already primed us. Now, ready? The reason I'm so, woo, is because Trump, just a couple hours ago, said on True Social, he sent out nuclear submarines, nuclear capable submarines to, I guess, choke points or attack positions. I'll let you guys read it. I'll read it to you. I didn't get that vocabulary exactly right, but I'll show you in just a minute. Just a few hours ago. So if Trump all of a sudden is saying, hey guys, I'm just letting y'all know I'm sending these subs out because Russia has seriously threatened us verbally on a phone call he had with Putin, or not Putin, Medvedev. That guy is threatening us, and Trump didn't use the guy's words, but when you read the post, you'll know it was serious. So it was serious enough for Trump to publicly announce he's sending nuclear submarines out to strategic locations in case the threat is real. All I'm saying right now is, guys, antenna way up, because we're in a situation where Hillary's caught. Caught doing what? Rigging the election. Conspiring with Russia. She's caught James Comey, Brennan. All of them are caught in a conspiracy to commit treason. Every one of them have been caught, in the records and the stuff you would need to convict them is already in the public view. So it's already put in the public view. What do you think's going to happen now? You think they're just going to go quietly into the night and they're not going to carry out the plan, which was to have Obama take it down from the inside? They're so determined to carry out their plan of Obama bringing everything down from the inside that they were willing to do the Hillary collusion thing and get all the, pressure off her and her email server and then bring Trump down with fake bullshit intelligence that they knew was fake, because they got to carry through with their plan. They've already got the plan in motion. Do you understand what I'm saying? The Russian collusion thing, it wasn't because they just didn't like Trump. It's because they had to carry out the rest of their plan. And they had to figure out, okay, what do we do? This came in the side door. Trump actually won. What the heck? So they saw he might win. So they had to come up with a plan in case he did win. And then when he did win, they had to continue to implement that plan in order to keep the plan going of theirs in order to bring the U.S. down from the inside. And now it's the big scramble that they've all been caught. So now they're all caught. Now what? What's printed on your new $10 bill? A nuclear tidal wave. What are they threatening from Russia? A nuclear tidal wave. What's printed on the $100 bill? A nuke coming out of the water at a city that's on the water. I'm telling you, I believe it's New York. So out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and a devouring wind. That's a nuke. Water as high as the walls of Jerusalem will cover the city by the sea. That's a tidal wave. those words manifested on the new currency notes. Okay, so I'll shut up. Here we go. Let's go. Sorry, guys. I think this may be it, guys. I think this may be it. Here we go. Here's the words right here.
Такой простой вопрос. А на сколько процентов поверит Трамп, если скажет, что мы сотрем к чертовой матери Америку? На сколько процентов поверит Трамп, когда поймет, что два Посейдона, сработавших с разных сторон североамериканского континента, приводят к образованию радиоактивного цунами, которое создает навеки пролив имени товарища Сталина? А насколько поймет и поверит товарищ Трамп, когда осознает, что наши подводные лодки определенной серии оснащены достаточно мощным оружием, чтобы никакой еще и близко не построенный защитный элемент, золотой купол, бриллиантовый, говёный, какой угодно, мог защитить Америку от удара воздействия? Или он что, на полном серьезе считает, что как только он отправляет баллистику или поднимает свои гребаные Б-2, которые для нас видны, которые попытаются нанести удар по нашей территории, будем так сказать, ой, смотрите, да нет, мы просто сотрем вас к чертовой матери с лица земли.
So no, we will freaking erase you off the face of the earth, and they're talking about doing it with their Poseidon 2 nuclear tsunami-causing missiles. It's basically a submarine that's a nuke, and it causes a tsunami. That's what he's saying here. That was a month ago.
Если вы считаете, что наш верховный главнокомандующий с вами шутил, когда говорил, а зачем такой мир, в котором нет России, или когда вы считаете, это было так, случайная фигура речи?
He said, do you think when our he's talking about Putin, he said, do you think when our commander-in-chief, and they're talking about Putin, said a world without Russia isn't even really a world worth having? They believe that because, see, they believe that if such a thing happens and they get nuked, it's okay, they're all going to heaven. Watch. Watch what he says. This is wild. Ready? Do you think it was just a figure of speech?
Когда было сказано, что ответ на встречный удар обозначает, что мы в рае, а вы сразу сдохнете.
That we're going to heaven, but you will croak?
Вы вообще ошалели? Вы что о себе возомнили? Ну так реально, что вы о себе возомнили, американцы? Вы вообще чуть-чуть в чувство все придите, скоты.
Come back to your senses, you animals. Okay, now, before you even consider the entire thing going on right now, the entire thing going on right now is because Trump got in the way of the Obama takedown of the U.S. Trump got in the way of the Obama takedown of the United States. And the intelligence agencies were involved and were complicit. Do you understand what that means? That means factions within the intelligence agencies and the entire government, whether or not it be judges or other people that are connected, let's just call it maybe the serpent race. I think they kind of manifest a lot in a democratic fashion because lying and deceit seem to be their number one traits. They do this kind of thing all the time. You don't really see Republicans getting indicted for election fraud, but you do with the Democrats all the time. It's a normal thing. So, what was this all about to begin with? It was about bringing the United States down from the inside. Let's recap. Ready?
2008, something unbelievable happened for us in the FBI. We were getting lots of rumors about this high-level asset that worked for several intelligence agencies at the same time. He worked for the Saudi intelligence service. He worked for the CIA, and he was being developed as a political asset in Chicago, Illinois. He was not even a United States citizen, but it was said that he was a student visa and that he was a national from another country. In 2008, everyone in the intelligence structure found out who he was. It was this individual whose name
Okay, now watch this just for a moment. Hang on one moment. Okay, so here's the guy walking out with two fake kids. Michael Obama, transgender, and he's gay. Wanting you to believe he's Christian. He wants you to believe those are his children and that Michelle's a female. That's past insane. That's criminally evil. It's another level of criminal evil. To sit there in front of millions of people with fake children and a dude that you're telling everyone is a girl, and you're president and you don't have a birth certificate and you don't have a social security number, it's been proven to be someone else's, your birth certificate was proven to be a total fraud, your children belong to the Nesbits. You see where I'm going with this? So once you get that guy in office and you get all this momentum behind him, and then all of a sudden the wild card Trump comes in, well, of course you got to do Russian collusion. Of course you got to come up with all this stuff because they're already that committed to the plan. What's going on right now in the world? Islam is basically taking over Europe. Islam in Europe is destroyed the identities of the countries, and the governments are protecting roving rape gangs. Stop and think about that. Instead of the citizens, the people like Keir's scumbag Starmer and other people would protect rape gangs over the citizens. That's beyond insane. Okay, let's keep racking up the data. Just let all that sink in. Here we go. Fake children, fake husband, fake religion, all of it's fake.
I don't like to say, who became president in 2008 of the United States. Everyone in the intelligence structure found out who he was. It was this individual whose name I don't like to say, who became president in 2008 of the United States.
And I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
the office of President of the United States.
One of his code names was Renegade. His real name was Barry Sortoro, but he adopted a different name for his political career. When they ran him for president, the cabal, basically, this was the culmination of so many of their plans for so many years. His mission was to destroy the United States from within.
Okay, his plan was to destroy the United States from within. Ask yourself, since he came into the scene, did he do that? Oh my God, like I've never seen. All with gender identity politics and complete and utter lies. Putting his people everywhere, knowing that that was the beginning of the takedown. Hillary should have come in behind him and they would have swept house and it would have already been done. But then this guy, Donald Trump, throws a wild card into their whole plan, so they're forced to come up with this concocted, total bullshit, fake Russian collusion, which is complete conspiracy. Now think about this. At the same time, some harbinger is telling you the end of the world's coming and these things are going to happen and they're even printed on your money, these things are actually happening that coincide with what's printed on your money. Do you understand? There's no way that's possible. Okay, let's keep going. The culmination of all their plans from the cabal was to take it down from the inside. So what do you think, they're going to stop their plans?
Of so many of their plans for so many years, his mission was to destroy the United States from within, one institution at a time. One of the things he did, of course, was he defunded our military. He brought down the resources that they got. But then he ordered our military in many, many instances and in various theaters to attack our allies and to defend and supply and help our enemies. That's exactly how he created ISIS. He would say publicly that the military were going to bomb our enemies, but then he would have the military actually bomb enemies of ISIS, our allies. He gave ISIS funding and equipment by basically ordering our military to take equipment into a certain theater and then abandon it.
And then abandon it. Oh, you mean like the $87 billion left over in Afghanistan? Like, oh, we got to get out all of a sudden. You destroy everything in place. You do not leave $87 billion in equipment. So he left $87 billion in equipment during Biden because they're still in the process of the takedown. Now they got Biden in there. They're going to keep their plan moving and try and cover everything up.
And the commanders would say, that's ridiculous. We'd just be handing that stuff over to ISIS. And the president's office would say, don't question orders, just follow your orders. And that.
Okay, so now we're at the reality that the whole thing that they tried to do to Trump that thwarted the Islamic takedown of the United States from the inside, the thing that stopped it was Trump coming into office. So they came up with the fake Russiagate. Here we go. Now you want to see who concocted it? They already have it in writing.
And this is an email leading up to the 2016 election. It is in the summer of 2016. It shows the Clinton campaign's then foreign policy advisor, Julianne Smith, Julie they call her. She constructed the plot. And she says that Hillary Clinton was okay. She okayed it. This email says it all. In one email, you've got the whole story here that HRC approved Julia's idea about
HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton. That's who approved it. Here we go. Let's keep watching.
Trump and Russia hackers hampering U.S. elections. Let it go viral. And then she actually says that the FBI is going to throw oil on it to even further the lie. Your reaction to all of this?
Okay, I want y'all to read this. Look at this. Hillary Rodham Clinton approved Julia's idea about the Trump-Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. I want you to stop and think about this. Someone, whoever this woman is that's writing this out, that Hillary's approved it, has the ability to tell them, take it to the Olympic level? You know, like, y'all got to make this huge. And then you have CNN, Rachel Maddow, and some of the people at CNN, they have some things to explain to all the people they deceived, don't they? Anderson Cooper, Brian Seltzer, all those people that carried water and they knew it was a lie and they burned up all that money on purpose in the court. They lied to everybody on purpose. They put the entire nation through that kind of mental torture, pitting people against each other based on total freaking lies. They would do that. Do you know what a sick heart that would take to be involved in that? Everyone involved in that has a sick heart. Their heart is gone. It's destroyed. Wow, look at this. The point is making the Russian play a U.S. domestic issue. Say something like a critical infrastructure threat for the election to feel menaced, since both POTUS and VPOTUS have acknowledged the fact that IC would speed up searching for evidence that is regrettably still unavailable. So they're just trying to make up something just to get it done. And here's all the proof. And they've got letter after letter, and Grassley and Bongino and what's the other guy, the Devin Nunes and Radcliffe and Trey Gowdy. They've all known this. They were trying to tell you what they knew back then, but it was classified, and the Dems wouldn't let anyone get to the information, because if you got to it, you could figure out what was going on. This is still ongoing, you guys. There is still a plan. They're not stopping their plans to take the U.S. down from the inside. That's why I'm doing this video. I believe now is the most critical time to know that what's printed on the U.S. currency notes, the tsunami and the nuke on New York, now is when they would probably pull it, because things have gotten out of hand. Things have gotten way out of hand for them. They can't stop everyone from finding out. They're probably afraid of the masses and pitchforks and torches. And I would imagine they are freaking out right now. So here we go. Watch this.
For years, probably about 6 years now, we've been talking about this. We knew the truth. They've been denying us. Once again, calling us conspiracy theorists. The thing that's maddening to me is, even if I wasn't in politics, is how little accountability we've had. I remember during the same period of time when Hillary was smashing her servers and denying basically court orders to turn over evidence, we had a young junior Navy enlisted guy take a picture on a submarine, which he did not share. He was put in jail because he had accountability, put in jail for something that's not even a fraction of what Hillary and her administration did, and yet there's still no scalps. I know Biden pardoned a whole bunch of people. I don't know if Obama and Hillary are part of those people, but I'm ready for some accountability. It's maddening to me that we can't have any after we know the truth has been exposed. We knew this was true before. Now it's out there in the open. I hope we get a scalp.
Well, I mean, you're right. And, what John Ratcliffe said to me on Sunday was that when it comes to conspiracy, it's the last time that they actually conspired, which adds an additional 5 years to the statute of limitations. And the problem is that the conspiracy is continuing because they still won't admit what they've done here. So, I mean, you would think that there should be some accountability. Meanwhile, one point that I've been bringing up is the fact that look at what President Trump has had to clean up. And as a result of your colleagues on the left so obsessed with taking their political opponent down, it was all politics all the time, instead of actually, worrying about our country. Now we are so dependent on the supply chains of China. You've got a war on Ukraine. I pose that issue to John Ratcliffe as well. Watch this, because this is a dereliction of duty, sir. Watch. Not only did the Russia collusion lie destroy people's lives, rip the country apart, but it also diverted energy and resources away from the real threats. So you have people like Adam Schiff, who is now a senator, completely ignoring the fact that Americans were relying on China for their critical elements that we need. For example, today, we rely on 90% of our prescription drugs for China. They're made in China. And so all of this was 100%. Going on, and they were yelling, Russia, 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 and in fact, not even focusing on the actual threats. That, in my view, is a dereliction of duty.
100%, Maria, completely agree. And don't limit it to China. So the mess that we just cleaned up, the Trump administration cleaned up with regard to Iran and its pursuit of a nuclear weapon, what's happening in Ukraine with Russia that we've inherited, and of course, our greatest geopolitical threat, China. All of these people helped build China. They helped create the threat that China is, that Russia is, that Iran is, because they put politics in front of national security. All of these people are responsible for the threats that we're facing as a country right now.
But see, here's the part that all of them seem to be missing. This is biblical. This is world Islam. Why do you think that they declared a fatwa against Trump and Netanyahu? And what that means is a judicial decree that God, the God of Islam, has made a judicial decree that anyone that helps Trump or Netanyahu is as guilty as Trump and Netanyahu in the eyes of Islam. Think about that. Let that sink in. So if they take over the government and anyone help Trump, well, y'all are just as guilty as he is. And they believe that's a death sentence for everyone. That's what the world Islam, that's what the jihad, and that's what this whole intifada is all about. I told everybody when they raised those black flags 2 years ago now that they were calling for the world intifada. They're saying it on college campuses now. I'm telling you guys, if you can't see it, you're blind. It's the most obvious thing in the world now. Watch.
Meantime, what did his opponents do? They plotted, they schemed, they didn't go to the people. They hate the people. And they knew they had a major problem on their hands. Hillary. You can't. Hillary? No. We got to cheat a little bit if we got Hillary hanging around because she has big problems. We now know what they knew about Hillary, and we should have known too at the time. Clinton was suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. Clinton was placed on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. The CIA had this kind of information. President Obama and party leaders found the state of Secretary Clinton's health to be extraordinarily alarming, and after the yellow, we're going to continue to read, and felt it could have a serious negative impact on her election prospects. Her health information was being kept in strictest secrecies, and even close advisors were not being fully informed.
Thank you, Senator Cornyn, for working with President Trump.
Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to let John Kelly or Greg Kelly, I'm going to let him read to you one of the notes so you guys understand that this plot goes way back, because this was standing in the way of the Obama takedown. They had already, for probably, who knows, I think that Obama may be, and possibly could be, a clone of Akhenaten, just because he fits all the earmarks that are in the hieroglyph that I drew in. I drew the same thing in a hieroglyph of Akhenaten as Obama's presidential portrait. And I'm obviously got an ability to see way past most other people. So I'm just saying, something ain't right. Okay, here we go.
Curious things learned, but some very serious things that he did not let the people see. They uncovered this note. Durham had it. All right, there's the email. Let's blow it up a little bit so everybody can read the thing, if you don't mind. Can we? Here we go. HRC approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email. Okay, wow. The point is making the Russian play a U.S. domestic issue. Say something like a critical infrastructure threat for the election. All right, is there more? Keep going. That's all we got. Anyway, it's explosive stuff. It was written by a think tank guy, but the question was raised by the FBI, hey, this might be disinformation. I don't think it's disinformation, but...
So, again, Durham decided to hide that from everybody. Rod Rosenstein and the Mueller report, total garbage lies. Can you imagine spending hundreds of millions of dollars of people's money knowing it was fake? To give the illusion that there was some Russian thing. Think about that for a minute. Think about the insane, evil, psychotic reality that they're doing. That's Satanist. That's Satan all over it. Because there's no good in that. There's no righteousness in that. That's purely evil. Accusing someone of something they didn't do so you can continue to take a country down from the inside, that sounds just like Satan's called the accuser of the brethren. He stands in the midst of us before the throne of God, accusing the brethren day and night. Don't they always accuse everybody what they themselves are guilty of, like threat to democracy? Remember that one? Huh. Let's go to the next clip. This is a guy that works at the Department of Defense, and he said that they received their communications that they were supposed to go along with this Russian thing, that they were going to not let Trump be inaugurated, and they wanted to make sure that the military was behind them before they told the public Trump's not going to be inaugurated. Stop and think about that. And you have people coming forward saying all this, and he's one of them. Listen to what he says.
Bottom line, the supposed top secret review, there was nothing there to show that Russia was trying to manipulate the campaign or the outcome of the election in the favor of Donald J. Trump. That the Trump campaign was somehow colluding with Russia. There was no evidence of anything. So when the document, the Intel Community Assessment, came back to the Department of Defense, because that's what happens in these reviews, the team members, the document, the final end product goes back to all the departments and agencies for review and finalization and approval. When it came back, my recommendation was non-concur. There was no evidence to support any of these assertions. And I was told, John, stand down. No, you don't need to complete the staffing. The secretary, which is Ash Carter, who's dead now, had already signed off because Comey and Brennan were personally hands on keyboard writing this assessment.
Okay, so
Comey and Brennan were actually hands on keyboard. The big liar. Remember Brennan talking about how wonderful Islam is? And remember? Did you know in Islam it's okay to lie to your perceived enemy if they're not Islamic? Yeah. They're considered garbage, so you don't have to tell them the truth. So that would be us.
they're convincing the DOD, the Pentagon, top people at the NSA. They're all colluding to build this narrative because Hillary and Barack Obama wanted to block Trump from becoming president.
And why? Why would you implement such a dangerous scheme if you get caught? Because they're all in. They're in all the way. There's no going backwards because he was groomed to come into this position to bring it down. Do you understand? That's why. So now, if Trump right now, today, within the last 2 hours, is moving submarines, that's why I'm doing this video. Because I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, when you take all the moving parts and you put them together, this sounds like right before 9/11. And like there's too many moving parts, too many people are caught, they can't cover the base, they're in deep trouble. What do? Well, how did the bombings get printed on U.S. currency notes before they ever happened? Because the system is her. Come out of her, my people. So she, the divining serpent, by the way, that's what Vatican means, divining serpent. So the divining serpent and the system knows what their plan is, so they print the bombings on the money before the events ever happen to show her as the god of this world. Do you understand? So now the bombings that are printed on the new 10 and the new $100 bill and the $50 bill, they haven't happened yet. But I know the Lord spoke the exact words out of my mouth that match the images of the bombings that are printed on the new bills. Let me show you a short little clip right now of those bombings printed on the U.S. currency notes. Just real quick. Okay, let me just jump in here.
You never have a director of CIA or director of FBI personally writing the intel community assessment. That was very...
Okay, so very quick, this guy says you never have the director of the FBI or CIA with their hands on the keyboard writing these assessments. But in this case, you did, which you know it's total bullshit.
Because Hillary and Barack Obama wanted to block Trump from becoming president.
You never have a director of CIA or director of FBI personally writing the intel community assessment. That was very brief.
It sounds, even with everything we know today, it sounds kind of nuts.
It was absolutely nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely nuts. And it was some of the most outrageous things I'd ever said or heard in government service, uniformed or civilian. This was insanity. The voice on the other end, I know exactly who it was, and I put their name to the Durham investigation. John, we're going to finalize the Russia narrative, prove Donald J. Trump is a Russian asset, and delay or block the inauguration. It's never been done before in American history. This is insane.
Dude, did y'all hear what he said? Here's a witness. This is insane, guys. Listen to what he says one more time.
Assessment.
Hey.
No, you don't need to complete the staffing. The secretary, which is Ash Carter, who's dead now, had already signed off because Comey and Brennan were personally hands on keyboard writing this assessment.
Okay, so they're convincing the DOD, the Pentagon, top people at the NSA. They're all colluding to build this narrative because Hillary and Barack Obama wanted to block Trump from becoming president.
They wanted to bring the country down to its knees under Obama, or because Obama would be working in the shadows after his presidency.
You never have a director of CIA or director of FBI personally writing the intel community assessment that was very brief. It sounds, even with everything we know today, it sounds kind of nuts. It was absolutely nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And it was some of the most outrageous things I'd ever said or heard in government service, uniformed or civilian. This was insanity. The voice on the other end, I know exactly who it was, and I put their name to the Durham investigation. John, we're going to finalize the Russia narrative, prove Donald J. Trump is a Russian asset, and delay or block the inauguration. It's never been done before in American history. This is insane. But it shows what was going on. And we were starting in early 2016. We were being fed information in interagency meetings from New York, from the director of counterintelligence, who was Charles McGonigal, who's now in prison, who was being paid by the Russians to spread the rumor inside the U.S. government that Trump was a Russian asset.
Wow.
So,
Okay, now let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. There's more. Let's see. We did this one. Let's do this one. Now, on top of everything, I want y'all to remember this is part of the equation too now. Now, remember, when the Antichrist takes over, they're going to have to be able to give you a mark. So you won't be able to buy, sell, or barter goods unless you have the mark of the beast, which is digital currency. They've approved it for the European bloc. They want to have it implemented by October. Let's see, we're in August, September, October. Wow, this is some pretty good timing. I've been telling everybody all they have to do is bring in an event now because they have everything in place like digital currency. By the way, Trump in the Genius Bill also has the digital currency, and Marjorie Taylor Greene said she would not sign the bill because of her Christian beliefs and that's the mark of the beast. And it is digital, everything in the palm of your hand or your forehead, or you can't buy, sell, or barter. It's here, guys. It's about to go down. So something's going down here. Here we go. Watch. Let's keep going. Watch this.
And I'm not claiming, parentality on the digital euro because my colleague Benoit Cœuré had already committed a speech on this matter before I arrived. But I certainly carried on with that project, and subsequently Fabio Panetta on the board and then Piero Cipollone, who has replaced Fabio, have taken the lead together with a very, very good team which is focused on accelerating the pace and hopefully campaigning enough with all the stakeholders, meaning European Parliament, meaning European Council, meaning European Commission, so that we can eventually, not put to bed, but put to reality this digital euro. The deadline for us is going to be October of 25.
Okay, the deadline is in a month and a half, guys. Let's see, we're in what, August? September? Well, if it's the beginning of... Do you understand that October is... Let's see, we're in August, right? I'm sorry, I'm like... So we're in August. So 2 months away. 2 months. That's it. And look at what's going on right now. Okay, hang on. Let's keep going. Next one.
Who are from the UK and they're saying, we're done.
I'm going to skip all that. We could watch 5 minutes of them telling you how Islam is taking over the UK, has taken over Norway, Sweden, Denmark. It's spreading like a cancer all through Europe. And the politicians of those countries are open arms, letting it all come in. Italy, you name it. They are all under siege. Here we go. You can go watch that on your own, so you know that world Islam is on the move. Here we go. Next, here we go. This is really important. Okay, so now this is the reason I'm doing this entire video, but I wanted to give you guys a landscape. You got to go look way back to understand what's happening now. Trump-Russian collusion was them trying to rally to continue the plan of bringing the U.S. down from the inside with Obama and company, while the world Islamic Jihad is maneuvering to get in place for the final, whatever, death blow that they're trying to bring. Why do you think they kept putting that crap out? Oh, he didn't kill all of Iran's nuclear capabilities. Why do you think the left and all those channels like MSNBC and all of them were like, oh, Trump says he got them, but he didn't get their stuff? Like they want them to have nuclear, assets. That's insane. It's like, can't you tell that there's another force in the media and everywhere around you that wants all this to happen? I mean, it's impossible not to see it now. But who is that? It's another race of beings being birthed within the human race. That's what it is. Now, watch this. Okay, Trump launches nuclear showdown submarine sent to strike zones. Okay, let's read this. Okay, this is Donald J. Trump on True Social, based on highly provocative statements of the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy chairman of Security Council of the Russian Federation. I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Okay, time out. So Trump's on the phone dealing with a situation, obviously with Russia, and because of the tariffs and the burden that's on Russia right now, Russia is also getting hammered by the Ukraine. Putin's pissed, like Trump's the one giving weapons to the Ukraine. When Hillary was there, they had a whole different thing going on if they would have had that other dynamic in politics. But now Trump is the guy that they're going to hang it all on. And so Trump is in the middle of this, what's going to happen with Russia that's getting its ass whipped right now by Ukraine. Just go look at some of the war footage. Just go to other sites. Go to other channels from other countries to see what's going on. I'll leave you a couple I go check out. So Russia is hitting Kiev, but the Ukrainians are really doing a number on a lot of Russian stuff. What about the big earthquake that hit a Russian sub-facility? And you don't think Putin's going, you guys had something to do with it? You don't think he's thinking that the U.S. might be using weather modification or that kind of technology? Because one of his nuclear subbases just took a major thrashing. Okay, now, he's on the phone with these guys. They make a major threat to Trump. Like, hey, like the one I just showed you at the beginning of this video. Like, hey, we're going to wipe you off the face of the earth type threat. Well, now, Trump is moving subs into strategic positions because of the threat that was on the phone. Okay, do y'all see where we're at? Do you understand that, in one moment, this whole thing can be where the world changes forever? Have you made your peace with God yet? Have you guys listened to the guy ringing the bell since 2007? That the end of the world is coming? Can you see it now? The Vatican's a snake. The inside of the mouth of a snake is the model, is the source of where all the virgin images come from. The mouth of a snake. Her feet go down to the pit. I think we're there. Ready? Based on highly provocative statements of the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy chairman of Security Council of the Russian Federation, I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Words are very important, yes they are, and can often lead to unintended consequences. I hope this will not be one of those instances. Thank you for attention to this matter. Okay, let's hit play. Okay, here's another post. I don't care what India does with Russia. They can have their dead economies down together. For all I care. Well, that's pretty rough language right there, Trump. We have done very little business with India. Their tariffs are too high, among the highest in the world. Likewise, Russia and the USA do almost no business together. Let's keep it that way and tell Medvedev, the failed former president of Russia, who thinks he's still president, to watch his words. He's entering very dangerous territory. Now would be a good time to show you what's already printed on your U.S. currency notes in your wallet right now. Let me show you that. We can come back to this. Now's a good time to see what's printed on your money. Okay, here we go.
Reports have shown, hidden in the United States currency notes reveals something very insidious. These images are disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Reports show the bills produced and distributed for the United States have printed on them bombings that have happened in the past, and bombings that will happen in the future. The immediate threat coming is a nuclear attack on New York City. It has all been planned from the beginning and there is no stopping what is to come. These are clips taken from a video called Destruction of America, produced by Jonathan Kleck.
I want to pause it. Okay, I want you to notice I drew around the perimeter of the bill to show you when you take one of these bills, all you have to do is make a pentagram out of it. Because the mystery of understanding the world that you're in is a right side up star represents one of God's princes. When you invert it, it becomes the church of Satan, the flesh, the host body system of Satan, the flesh, an inverted star. And that is manifested, and it shows you the plans. When you turn the right-sided star upside down, you see their plans, and I will quote Isaiah right now. Woe unto them who go to great depths to hide their plans from the Lord, and their works are in the darkness. And they say, who seeth us? Who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, regarded as the work of God. So now, if you want to see the truth, you turn everything upside down. So I make the 5-pointed star, then I turn it upside down to see what their plans are. There's their plans printed on this $20 bill. So watch, I'll go back and we'll start here. Ready?
These are clips taken from a video called Destruction of America, produced by Jonathan Kleck, and have been deleted by YouTube to continue to...
There is the Twin Tower bombing on the $20 bill made in 1996.
...to conceal the truth. We are now looking at the 1998 US $20 bill, alongside the Twin Towers moments after the attack that took place in 2001.
There's 3 layers of ink on the bill, so you can see, look, those are the Twin Towers burning and falling. That's unbelievable, you guys.
As you can see, the money printed years prior to the attack is identical to the attack on the Twin Towers. Now we will turn the bill over to see the Pentagon bombing on the same bill.
So right there on the back side of the same exact bill is the Pentagon. I'm sorry, but anyone that's got half a brain, if you haven't gone full retard, then you should be able to understand that is absolutely the bombing of the Pentagon and the bombing of the Twin Towers. Let me ask you a question. What are they doing printed on your money? Why are the bombings printed on your money? Who's running the government? What's really going on? Why is the Vatican a snake? Why is the snake eating angels? See, the whole thing's an illusion. The whole thing is an illusion. You're in her system, which is a him disguised as a her. Genesis 1.
In the same pattern. This is now 2 attacks that happened on the same day identically.
Look at the rectangular building here in white. Look at the explosion, fire and smoke, other part of the building rectangular. 1, 2, 3 rows of square windows. Okay, watch.
Printed on the same United States $20 bill. If you are skeptical that this is real, or think it might be a coincidence, this is not the first time they printed an attack on your money. Let's quickly review.
Okay, that faded right into the actual Pentagon. There's the Pentagon, you guys. There, it's identical to the U.S. currency. We just faded it right on top. Watch.
Printed on the same United States $20 bill. If you are skeptical that
I mean, you can't make this stuff up, guys.
this is real, or think it might be a coincidence, this is not the first time they printed
There it is. There's the Pentagon bombing.
an attack on your money. Let's quickly review the older $20 bill. This is the Alfred P. Murrah Federal.
I want you guys to look at the Alfred P. Murrah building. Watch. I want you guys to know these older bombings are absolutely on your money.
This is the Alfred P.
Look at the corner of the building. See how it looks rounded? Look at these long rectangular windows that are on the end of the building. Well, when it blew up, the face of the building blew up right here, the face. Not the end, the face blew off right over here. But look at the end of the building. Look at the explosion. Watch.
Murrah Federal Building bombing
So there's looking down the end of the building.
That took place in Oklahoma City.
Look at the 3 layers of ink.
In 1995.
Yeah, okay. Now, ready? No. No. I call total bullshit on the whole thing. On the whole illusion. No. Sorry, Satan, you don't get away with it. It's in public view now. Everyone can see it. There it is. That's the federal building bombing on your $20 bill. I went to the FBI and showed this to them. I went and showed it to them. I watched one agent freak out, not in a bad way, but how'd you do this? Where did you get this? How did you? And the other agent looked like he wanted to kill me. And I'm like, I'm just a messenger, guys. Here it is. Do what you want.
Some key characteristics worth pointing out is the rounded corners on the ends of the building, the face blown off, and the floors of the building jutting out. I will now take an image from the Oklahoma...
I want you to look at this image. Look at these floors where I'm making my circle. Look at that and look at that. See that? See the wall coming down? Or the side of the building right here? And look at the floors jutting out right here and here. And look over here. Watch this.
Bombing and lay the $20 bill on top of it.
Okay, you got to be kidding me. There is the $20 bill. You can see the floors jutting out. I mean, really? Right here and here? Side of the building?
As you can see, we have another perfect match.
There it is. Okay, now, those buildings and those bombings were printed on your money. You know how I know? Because I just showed them to you. Okay, now, I prophesied in 2007, out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and a devouring wind. Water as high as the walls of Jerusalem will cover the city by the sea. Okay, those words manifested on new currency notes. So the new $100 bill shows water, fire and smoke, and a devouring wind taking out buildings in New York. The $10 bill shows water as high as the walls of Jerusalem. Look at where we're at right now, this moment. Subs going into place. Obama and the Russians caught. Everybody caught. Hillary caught. Brennan caught. Clapper, Comey, all the rats. They're all caught.
We'll go over the bombing that is to come. This is the United States $100 bill. Folded into the same upside-down pentagram, you can see New York City being consumed by an explosion.
Watch.
There is hidden watermark ink on the bill that cannot be seen with the naked eye. Putting the image into computer software, I will show you each layer of ink that shows you the full
out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and a devouring wind. Watch it happen.
Destruction of New York City.
There it is on your $100 bill.
With each layer
there it is
of ink added, you can see the movement of the explosion coming towards you. We are front-loaded about this upcoming attack in many ways. Here is an example from a movie called The Day After Tomorrow.
Buildings on the side.
Putting the bill and movie clip next to each other, you can see they are front-loading the same agenda.
It's the same setup. You can see the buildings on the side here, water coming down the middle. See, this is water coming down the middle. See the light right here? This is water coming in between the buildings. And then you see the buildings disintegrate from the nuke.
Looking on the next image hidden on...
Okay, that shows a missile going into the water, but I want to get back to the main event here. We can come back and look at that some more. Guys, just look at the headlines. The Sun is different now. Hillary, everybody knows Hillary's busted, totally busted. CIA media exposed. So all these, what's her name? Mia Brzezinski or whatever her name is. And then Anderson Cooper. All the shills that carried water. They've revealed all these documents now. Operation Mockingbird. They're all in cahoots, and if you don't believe me, let me help you. Just remember how they told you that we have to do all these things, because if we don't do like the Dems say, it's a threat to our democracy. Oh, thou dost protest too loudly. Yeah, a little too much. Now, okay, guys, remember all those times. All those times. Remember the garbage? Everybody had to just listen. We can't show you that. It would be a threat to our democracy. That would be a threat to our democracy. By the way, it's a republic. Y'all ready? Watch. Just listen and try not to gag.
San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble trying to get responsible one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
They decided that as the Washington State Republican Party, they would this year take a stand against democracy.
I ask you, what are we? Who are we?
Well, we're going through common struggles. I mean, the fact of the matter is that everybody here, and I look at this audience and it's representative of the country, everybody here is connected in some fashion. And our success and our children's success is tied up together. And so I think most Americans feel that way. Mm-hmm. But what is still true is that there's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain, right? That part of our brain that if somebody looks different or sounds different, that there's a part of us that is cautious. Is that there's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain, right? That part of our brain that if somebody looks different or sounds different, that there's a part of us that is cautious. What is still true is that side of our brain, there's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain.
President Obama is back at the White House this morning after delivering his much-anticipated goodbye address. The president spoke last night to a crowd of 18,000 people in his hometown of Chicago. He warned about threats to our democracy and urged all Americans to have faith in the country. Dean Reynolds is in Chicago, where he listened to the president's plea. Dean, good morning.
In his farewell message, I can't do that. President Obama said it's every citizen's responsibility to be guardians of America's democracy.
Democracy can buckle when it gives in to fear. That's why I reject discrimination against Muslim Americans.
That's an interesting thing to blurt out, considering John D'Souza. He was the culmination of all these years of planning, but there was a wrench thrown in the plan called Donald J. Trump, and because of that wrench, all things got exposed. It's time to be on your guard. It's time to, settle your debt with the Lord God for being in the flesh. That's what he came for. to settle the debt of the flesh, which is her. Come out of her, my people. And her is a him posing as a her. Elohim said, let us create man in our image. So in the image of Elohim created he himself, male and female. So himself is inside male and female. Himself. And the angelic beings that come into the system, you end up getting your own doppelganger, a good and evil you. And Jesus came in to rectify that. It's the most obvious thing in the world. Once you see it, that's what the whole world's about. Cleanse your hands, purify your hearts, you double-minded. One good, one evil. And the evil one will destroy you through the host body system. The host body system's like a horrifying real video game that you're in. And if you don't win by turning everything up the other way, then you're done forever. I love you in Christ. Please listen. There's so much information, so many resources, like Kleck files and all the information that's been poured out for you guys. And I'm doing another channel. I'm just going to throw all biblical scripture stuff over there. We're working on it. We're having just an overload of stuff we're trying to get done, and it's too much, really. But we're still trying to do it. Okay. I love you guys. Okay. Heads up.